Hi, Scorpio. It's your season, and just after your new moon as I'm recording. And we find you represented by the Hangman. Not sure that's focusing for us, but now let's see what comes through as far as the truth that can help you set yourself free. Okay. Scorpio. So you've got the Hanged Man and then also the Page of Pentacles here. And the Five of Swords. And the Fool. So you do have a mental battle going on. You do feel suspended between two things, and a new beginning is the answer to your question here. Let me charge my speaker. So it looks like what's happening, Scorpios, is you're on the brink of a new beginning. We've got the Fool card here. This is what will, as I said, sort of fix the situation, sort of cure the trap that you've set for yourself, which is a mental trap, like I think almost every sign before you. It's a mental battle that you're having with yourself, because while suspended in between states of being, I want to say projects that you're working on. It could be relationships or places that you're living. But while suspended in between two states, the reason you're not actually taking the risk to embark on the new beginning that you're on the brink of is some sort of mental battle, mental hesitation. You have a resistance to that new beginning. And there's an indication here with the Two of Fire on the bottom of the deck that it has to do with being afraid of your own success, being afraid of the responsibility of creating your own destiny. Someone, and it may be you, is ready to invest, ready and waiting. You see them holding their investment. I do wish it would focus. It's like it gives you the option to autofocus, but then it still doesn't do it. It's disappointing. But you can see that someone here is holding this investment, their version of reinforcement of resources, of physical wealth to invest. And yet they I'm not sure if you had time to note it. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with the focus, but the individual, the character here has this expression and posture and demeanor of ready but waiting, just like what is indicated by the Hangman. The Hangman is making some sort of a sacrifice with his or her energy, time, and enjoying a new perspective. All the while, they themselves or someone near them is ready to make this investment, and the investor or the investor portion of you is waiting alongside the hangman energy. They're both just waiting. The investment waits because the thinker, the one sacrificing, the one enjoying a new perspective, is waiting. With the hangman energy, that sacrifice and that new perspective is often quite necessary. It may even be what has manifested this new beginning that you're hesitating and resisting actually embarking upon. And it actually looks like the fighter in this version of the Five of Swords, we're using the Shadowscapes Tarot deck, is rather peaceful. She doesn't seem to want to engage in a fight. It's almost as if you are engaging in this mental battle. You are honoring and humoring the mental resistance you feel to moving forward, even though you don't want to. Wow, and your advice cards are the Ten of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the High Priestess. Shared emotional fulfillment, love understood, and being in tune with one's own intuition. So, Scorpios, if the new beginning that you are resisting embarking upon has to do with shared emotional fulfillment with another individual, maybe someone who's investing in a project of yours, or someone who is interested in investing in you in some type of a personal relationship with you, you are absolutely advised toward that. What's funny is, as I said, you already don't want to fight the fact that you want this new beginning. You just are. You're just honoring that resistance for some reason. You think you're supposed to. And it's leaving you in the outcome of this, in the future position here, it's leaving you holding on to something too tightly. You're holding on too tightly. Unwilling to let go of any amount of time or energy or resource, or maybe a person, something that you could physically hold on to. And so you're not making room for the other energy that wants to come in with this new beginning, maybe a new person or a new project. Some part of you is ready to invest in that. And I think someone is ready to invest with and in you, because you're advised toward this shared emotional fulfillment, and then you're advised that this person who wants to invest in you, there is love understood between the two of you. So they love this work or this project in a very similar way to the way that you do. Or if it's a person who would like to invest in a relationship with you, then the two of you understand, and the way that each of you gives and receives love. And there's just no reason to resist your own intuition on this matter. Your own intuition seems very interested in this new beginning. It seems like your higher mind, some higher part of you is in fact not only urging you toward this new beginning, but already starting to walk down that path. but consciously and in the 3D, you aren't allowing that to truly happen yet. You're still in your mind. So I hope you hear this. I hope you receive this message, Scorpio, because it's just a matter of allowing yourself to have what you want here. The truth is, a new beginning is already available for you. It's one that offers shared emotional fulfillment. It's one that offers love understood. It's one that your intuition is not only begging you to it's not just a path your intuition is begging you to go down. Some part of you already is. And yet you're honoring this fight for just the sake of trying to hold on to something. It's almost, it's almost reading as greed, like you want to have what you had before and have an opportunity at something new. And that just won't be the way that this shakes out. You seem much more afraid to let go of what you think you have a hold of. But I think you only actually still have a hold of that thing in your mind. And as I said, some part of your higher self is actually already walking away from that and going down the path that offers this shared emotional fulfillment, honors your intuition rather than your ego. I actually saw an episode of Ninja Warrior the other night that reminds me of this. I haven't tuned into that show for a long time. I really like it, but I just almost forgot about it. And my partner, he was very interested in it. So I got to watching some of it with him. And there was an obstacle. I think it was called falling shelves. And they hung on one shelf and they had to swing themselves to the next. And then when they swung themselves to the third shelf, the handles weren't facing them. So it wasn't like you grabbed on something here. It was like you swung and you jumped and you had to grab on something here, okay? But they couldn't see where their hands were landing. And an amazing number of them somehow still managed to do this, right? But it had to be completely intuitive. They had to just swing and just grab and assume where those were. You can't grope for them because, then your hands will just slip down. We saw that happen quite a few times as well. And one contestant did what it looks like you are doing here. A physical 3D example of what we see you doing here. One contestant swung from the first shelf, grabbed the second, and held on as it fell down. That's why they were called falling shelves. You grabbed and then they would fall and you'd have to hold on. And they got to the second one. And instead of just swinging and guessing and grabbing the third one from the opposite direction, I hope that makes sense. Instead, he swung and he got himself going, he got himself some swing, and he reached one hand over to feel for where the shelf was. And he found it and he grabbed it, and then he was stuck between the two. And as he was stuck between the two, what I screamed at the television and what he should have done was just try to make it to the second one. It was a bad move to begin with. It was with the best of intention and in the moment as he's trying to make good time on this physical obstacle course, right? This I just kind of assumed people know what Ninja Warrior is. It's so big, but this obstacle course where you win money if you get through it in so much time, if you're the fastest at it, basically, usually. So he was suspended in between the two. He's holding on here and he's holding on here, and he should have just kept going. You found where the shelf is. It's an inconvenient position to be hanging like this. I mean, he's up in the air. It's an obstacle course. He's hanging. And because he swung back instead, he fell. I'm not sure that he would have made it, as he was suspended in between. There's no guarantee that as he hung like this, that he could have gotten his other arm over, but he didn't even go for it. Once he found himself suspended in between, once he knew where the shelf was, he let go of the shelf he had reached for, and he came back to his second shelf position. Well, now that third shelf is swinging, and he knew where the hold, the grab had been, but in making an attempt for it while it was in motion now, there was no way that he could hold on, and that was where his run on the obstacle course unfortunately ended. And he was the only one contestant that I saw to attempt that, and it was an attempt, it seemed, to try to be extra cautious. So I'll find out where the shelf is before I get there. And again, I'm not judging this person. They were in a rush and in the moment and doing the best they could. I couldn't have done any of it. Well, almost none of it. But his mistake, the mistake that actually ended his run, where he could not go any further down the path that he had begun down, was going backwards and trying to be too cautious. And I see this as very, very relevant for you, Scorpios, because it seems you're quite afraid to take the risk of moving forward. It seems you're quite afraid to take the risk of letting go of something that's already behind you. There's no way that the obstacle you're on now can be taken with you as you move forward. You must move forward without this obstacle, beyond this obstacle. And as you're suspended in between the two obstacles, it may seem like you're more afraid to move forward. But if you try to move back, you will fall. You will lose the opportunity to move to the obstacle ahead of you. You will have to begin anew somewhere else at some other time with someone else. What I'm trying to say is you should be much more afraid of not letting go. And I'm just not sure exactly how to fully convey that to you. You're clearly more afraid to let go of what you're holding on to and to move forward. But all the fear should be on not letting go. There's nothing for you here to hold on to. Sure, he could safely come back to that second obstacle, but you don't win any money for that. He could hang there all day and run his time out on the clock and not be one of the top contenders, and eventually his arms give out and then he has to fall anyway. It's embarrassing. He loses. He doesn't move forward. Right? And again, I'm not trying to bash this competitor. This person was in the moment and in a rush. We are lucky enough to have this perspective, this overview, this time to consider this. I see that you're just too afraid to let go. But you should be afraid not to. You have a chance at moving forward at this new beginning if you take the risk and grab for the next rung. Leap for the next landing place. It's a risk, but it gives you a chance. To hold on to something that's already behind you, there's no way that moves you forward. There's no indication that resurrects something from your past here. It just leaves you hanging. You just leave you hanging. And you show up here as the hangman, and you show up in the future as someone unwilling to release still. So you're just hanging there, just hanging on to what? I hope that doesn't sound too harsh. And it looks like this. It looks like it may be because you had shared emotional fulfillment with someone before, or you thought you did, or you fancy that you did, but is anyone hanging there with you? Would someone be hanging out with you if you made the leap for the next landing place, for the new beginning? Because I don't think anybody's hanging here with you where you are now. So how is it shared emotional fulfillment if no one's there with you? And someone's waiting for you to make this leap. It's a chance, it's an opportunity, it's a new beginning. It's where your intuition is, again, already leading you. And I think, Scorpios, I'm not sure that this is necessarily a romantic scenario, but I've had to say that in all of them. It absolutely could be. I think the person who is waiting for you to see if you make the leap to the new beginning is waiting because they already understand the way you love. They already understand why you're so stuck on someone or something, some scenario or person or relationship from your past. They get it. They're the same way. They understand and they feel for you and they see you, and it makes them feel even more for you, that they relate to your struggle, to your mental battle. They see what you're going through. So they're willing to be patient and sit and hold their investment and wait to see if you give them a chance to invest in you. It's very sweet. It's that type of understanding is exactly why it's a love you should leap for. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partnership, but it's somebody who understands why you're hesitant, why you're in your mind, why you're trapped and hanging on and won't let go. But just because they understand and just because they care and just because they relate does not mean that they can hang out there waiting for you forever. And they won't. And they won't. And you feel a spark on the bottom of the deck. You feel a spark, you feel a passion here. It's probably related to why your intuition is leading you forward, right? You have this sense that there is a new passion waiting for you. And or maybe what you can't let go of and what you're holding on to too tightly is simply some type of sexual attraction to someone from your past. Someone or something. Something that's too enticing to let go of. But I think it has let go of you. So someone or something is waiting on you for now. And maybe one of the main truths that you need to hear here is that they won't wait forever. There won't always be someone waiting for you. You're always going to have to let go of the obstacle that you're stuck on now. Now, in the near future, in the distant future, it doesn't matter how long you hang on. You're either hanging there by yourself or you're letting go eventually. The difference is if you take the chance at a leap now, there is someone else or something else waiting there for you. Just not forever. It looks to me like they are going to continue to be patient with you for some time, in fact. There's a spark here. That's just not to be ignored. I do think they'll be patient with you for some time, but you have to make a move in the right direction, which is not the still direction, and it's not the backwards direction, it's not the down direction, that's the forward direction. And I think as long as you're moving in that direction, then that new beginning, that new passion, maybe new person, will continue to be patient because they do understand you and they do understand the way that you love, whether we're talking about in a relationship or just in how you put love into what you do. So I hope that helps, Scorpios, and I love you, and we will move forward from there.